Hello everyone, and thanks for joining me for another video here. Got some daily races around Big Willow, Willow Springs. Daily race B this week obviously, and been having some real fun on this. This is a bit of a battle that I had to try and get a podium finish, so a bit of a longer video here, but I'd really appreciate it if you stick with us. There's a great race at the end and some good racing moves along the way as well, and we will skip through the parts of the first two races that don't really have anything happening. So see here, first race, starting in 5th place. I had managed to improve my qualifying time a little bit since doing the lap guide. But my starts here, as I wasn't very experienced with doing the actual race, you can see I use the brake there and do lose some time, but Bobby is going to dip off into the gravel, which is going to become a bit of a theme for him really. He seems to like doing that, and somehow keeps relatively good control of the car, even with the amount that he dips the toe off into the sand, which would just be game over for me, I think, if I was doing that as much as he is. So just going to try and stick with the slipstream here. Absolutely essential here to stick in the slipstream. If you lose that, you just lose the pack in front, you'll fall back into traffic and definitely risk losing more positions. So super important just to stay within that crucial 3/4 of a second here. So first lap of this race, we've not really managed to achieve anything, unfortunately. We've gained on 4th place and then lost a bit of time back and gained it again. He was definitely a quick driver. You can see how much he's right up on 3rd place's tail, but again dips a toe there. As we skip forward a bit further into lap 2, come into the 2nd sector, and again he's going to be off into the sand, making the car unstable. And this has allowed the German to catch right up behind both of us here. I'm going to get a good exit here, but just hit too much of that curb, destabilise the car, and I'm going to have to let Yannick go there. Definitely better to let him go past cleanly and then stick in the slipstream with him, so we can now fight to get back up into 4th or maybe 3rd position. So unfortunately yielding 5th place up to him on this occasion, but we're going to stay on board and see if we can fight to get it back. Going to skip forward here a bit. There's literally nothing happened on lap 3. We went around in a bit of a procession, just trying to keep the slipstream and stick with him here. So nothing that exciting happening. Now this time when Bobby goes off, it's properly off. All 4 tyres in the dirt. He's come back on, forced Yannick a little bit wide. Now even lifting off the throttle here. I'm still catching up on him like crazy. Back with him a couple of love taps unfortunately, but just hold the line on the right here. If you're worried about someone making moves up the inside there this week on this race, I really wouldn't worry too much. Just stay, up the left hand side, stay on the right on the racing line and just brake where you normally would and hold the position. Make sure you get the room obviously on the inside, don't cut across the apex, but you can really just hold on to the inside, because you'll then be on the inside for that right hander coming up the hill, and you'll definitely maintain the position as long as you stick to your braking points and hit your acceleration marks as you normally would. So now coming up to the last lap, and we're going to look up the inside here to see if we can get past Yannick. Unfortunately we're not quite alongside enough, and then let's clip that curve again to stabilise the car, lose the momentum, so we're going to have to fall back into 5th place behind him. And Bobby has still stayed in the slipstream here. He is a very quick driver when he's keeping it on the tarmac, so we're going to have to do some work here to hold on to 5th and hopefully make a move for 4th or 3rd if we get the opportunity to. And crucially, as we just come to the bottom of this hill, another thing that's really important to do, I feel, is go wide onto the gravel there and use that to maximise your exit speed. It's a really important part of the track to get a good launch down this back straight, and if you're keeping it narrow like some drivers are there, you just won't be fast enough now. Let me know in the comments what you think of this move. Here, he just catches a little bit of gravel, goes across to the left, opens up the inside for me. I never normally like making moves up the inside here because it can just be devastating for both the races. But do manage to get around there. He's going to come back, obviously not going to move across. It's going to be a bit of a drag race to the line. End up winning by 0.013 of a second, so very, very close one there, but still not a podium. So let's see what we can do in the next race. Now this time round we're starting in 4th. Still really good quality of drivers up at the top. You can see there plenty of A+, and but vitally we are one place closer to our goal of getting the podium. So all I've got to do is gain one position here, and we can hopefully get up into that third place. So as we get off to a start here, are we going to be able to learn from our mistakes last time and make a podium finish? A couple of different drivers around us this time. Let's say still a good quality of driver in the lobby, and again, just don't make the most of that first turn. I still haven't learned at this stage not to use the brake around there, obviously, and almost straight away we lose the slipstream. So unfortunately there, the top three went sailing off into the sunset, and it's now really going to be a battle with this Spanish driver behind Shadownet. He came through past the Frenchman pretty quickly, and you can see he's really gaining up on me here. And it's going to be a great exercise here in defending and how to make a move around T1. So let's go on board with this and see how he manages to try and make some moves. Coming into turn one the first time, he's not quite alongside, goes and has a look around the outside. Can't get it done, so pulls back into place. Skipping ahead a bit further on here to the end of lap 2. I was definitely faster than him coming out at the end of sector 2, which helped him get a little bit of a run, but obviously with the slipstream here, every single time he's gaining right back up on me. So I'm just having to hold to the inside. Now see there, third place has gone flying off, and I got a bit excited that maybe we might actually catch up with the pack and have a chance to fight for third. Again there he gets alongside me and then looks to make the cutback, which looks like is actually going to work, but unfortunately making a move on the outside on this right-hander here in turn 2 is just almost impossible. I don't think that you're able to do it unless the driver on the inside really messes things up. So he chooses to let off a little bit, fall back behind, and again, as I say, I was maintaining a bit of pace over him through the second sector here, so this wasn't too much of a concern. See the difference here as I go out onto the gravel and get a much better launch. He stays on the tarmac the whole way, and I really just don't feel that maximises your speed there. But now coming down to the end of lap 3, again I'm holding the inside. He's going to get a bit further alongside this time, but he gives me some space, so I'm able to come out and still make a decent line around the corner. Third place has gone flying off, come back onto the track. Luckily he moved with the racing line, we are up into third place, so it looks like our dream of making a podium is going to come true. We've just got to defend for one last time against Shadownet here, so this time round does things a little bit different. This is a good lesson to learn if you want to make any moves around turn 1. So he comes alongside, but this time he keeps me pinned. He doesn't give me the room to move and get a good line, and that's going to mean that he's able to go right round the outside. Now maybe I could have braked a little bit later for that corner, or could have got on the power a bit quicker, but either way, very clean move done by him. He's done the right thing by pinning me to the inside, not giving me the room to do what I want to do and drive the right line for me, and he's made the pass work. It does get a little bit wild here coming up the hill, but it's not going to be enough. I'm going to have to just fall behind, and we're going to see if we're able to make a move into the last turn, but it's looking like he's the one who's going to have the podium tied up this time, and we've got to worry about Jester not making a move from behind the Frenchman, as he's again in that slip range that could be dangerous to come flying up and slingshot past you around the final corner. So around the last turn here, just lifting a little bit to maintain the gap. This one just comes right up behind. We're going to manage to stay in our place though, but it's not going to be enough to get third place back. So great drive by the Spanish driver there. He sort of bided his time, looked for the move when it was right, and made it work. So this is the final race. This time round, starting in 4th place again, and we're going to be definitely looking to make a move work this time. Haven't got the Spaniard in this race, unfortunately. He had been good to race with, but got some different company here. And let's go on board for the whole of this race and see why it was quite such an exciting one to be in. Now, just changing my brake balance there because I've been playing around in qualifying a little bit to see if I can squeeze some more time out, but Haven't managed to improve that again yet. We still don't get the best exit, but crucially we are staying in the slipstream this time. And also pulling away a little bit from the driver in 5th here, so he's not really sticking with us on this occasion. So gonna have to keep an eye on the driver Carnage in front here, because this is who we need to make our move on, as he does get a little bit squirrely there, catching some gravel on his travels, and first just went absolutely flying off there. He's come back on the track, really don't know where to go, so I end up giving a bump to the slower driver, as I figure that's when I'm going to have more of a chance to make a move on. So Ramster's qualifying time, I think it was a good 4 or 5 tenths faster than me, so I know he's a very quick driver, as the Swedish driver just comes flying unceremoniously past him into 4th place. So we are up into 3rd, and we've got a good chance of taking 2nd here, but got some hot competition behind us, and Ramster is definitely going to be a threat until the very end, so see what we can do here to make a move or hold on to this position. We're getting absolutely hounded by Cliff Pang from behind. Just going to try and keep our cool and keep on top of Carnage here and keep the pressure on, as he absolutely sends it pretty late in my opinion up the inside there, but managed not to have any dramas. Again comes up, taps into the back of me there. That might be because he got a tap from Ramster, in fairness, looking at the radar, but as you can see, plenty of pressure from 4th and 5th place, and we really need to get going, because we almost lose the slipstream there to 2nd place, which would have been just race over there. I'd have fallen back into the clutches of 4th and 5th, and it definitely would have been a very different race if I hadn't managed to just cling on to see, I was barely within that 3/4 of a second, but as we come around the last turn, we're going to get a good launch there, and suddenly we're up to, by the end of this straight, we're going to be within 3 tenths of 2nd place, so super important. Actually gets down to 2 tenths there at one point now. Keeping some pressure still on Carnage. We let off a little bit there through the first turn, but then quickly catch back up. Really fun track this once you get used to balancing the throttle around the corners that you need to and the braking points. Have some really good racing there, enough space to drive, but obviously fatal if you do happen to get off into that gravel, as Carnage gets a little bit out of shape, has to use the brakes a bit late around the exit to that left-hander, and we're going to come right up on him here. As I said, I really don't like making moves into this last corner, so we're going to try and just hang behind and make a move down the straight. Give him a tap here just to try and build the gap from Ramster. My intention there was to work with him to make a bit of a bigger gap between me and 4th, but he obviously didn't take it that way and looks to break the slipstream down the front straight. So I'm going to stay tightly with him here. To break a little bit earlier because of the slipstream, and again just dips a bit of a toe into the gravel there. Crucially just slows you down a little bit when you really don't need to be, and only about 1.5 laps now to go to make this move. So we go 2 tenths up in sector 1 there, so absolutely flying with the slipstream from the driver in 2nd place here. And going to see what we can do as he gets right off, doesn't use the gravel there again to his advantage, and I'm going to get a much better launch out of that left-hander down this back straight. Also, crucially, I've got the slipstream, but he does definitely not have the slipstream of the driver in 1st place. He's long gone, sort of over 1.5 seconds in the distance, so once again going to stick behind him here, not look to make any kind of crazy moves, but get a good launch out of the final turn, and we're going to try and make a move around T1. Now obviously I haven't learned my lesson from the last race and given way too much space there to come out and make the turn. We do get to go on the outside, a little bit of contact there between us as he comes across a bit further, to give him the room in my opinion, but we do manage to get up the inside here for turn 2. And as I said, I'm not going to worry about defending to the left. I'm just going to hit my brake marker, give him the space up the inside, and know that I'm going to have the inside for this right-hand sort of U-turn up around the top of the hill. So we're up in second here. Again, we're going to go off to make the most of the width of the track there, get a bit of a nudge from him, and that's going to put us about 4/10 clear now. Crucially, if you can get just a little bit of a buffer there, it's normally enough that even with the slipstream they're going to catch up with you, but not enough to make a pass by the line if you're on the last lap. So let's see how that goes. So he is flying up behind now, less than 2/10 in it, coming around the last corner, but he's going to have Ramster trying to make the move past him. It's going to mean that they're fighting, and we are going to come across for the second place finish. So finally got the podium that I was looking for. Had some really great racing so far today, and hope that'll continue through the rest of the week. Massively appreciate it if you've watched all of the video, or if you enjoyed that, then please drop a comment or a like, and we'll see you on the track for some racing soon. Thanks very much.